share stories about how God is working in our church. We are encouraged by hearing these. Thank you. You know, God permits apostasy so that the difference between what is right and what is wrong becomes so apparent, as I said before, that even a child can see it, right? And we have some areas where it is so bad that apostasy is throwing out people that are really serious about their religion. Of course, the devil is very clever and he has a lot of fanatics as well. And you can make anything your religion. You can make diet your religion. Don't make diet your religion. Salvation by gastronomy. There's no such thing. Do what is right and leave the consequences to God. But don't, if you manage to overcome one issue in your life, lift up the banner and say, look at me, I'm holy. Because you are standing on a banana peel while you are saying that. 2 banana peels, right? 1 under each foot. So, yes, we have all these factions in the church. And there seems to be a war going on in the church. By the way, that is in perfect harmony with what happened to ancient Israel, and we'll be doing a lecture on that. So this church is perfect when it comes to fulfilling typological prophecy. So now, the question is, what are the good things that are happening? The good things that are happening is that because the situation in some places has become so intolerable in terms of apostasy to what the pioneers and the pillars of this church stand for, that there is a groundswell.
We can hear it.
You can hear the groundswell, eh? And the youth is beginning to stand up. And we have these mega movements. Don't underestimate the youth. Some of these old fogies in the church. Do you know any of the old fogies, Francie? You don't know
Not
any.
as a young person.
No, you don't know any. Some of these people think that the youth is stupid. They think that filling them with boom, boom, bash will keep them in the church. And this is the way to win new converts. Man, I was in England at a... Oops, I said England. I'll rephrase it. I was on an island.
The British Island.
Close to France. And they had this rock concert amongst the youth. I've told the story many times. And it's a long camp meeting. It goes over 10 days. And it was a noddy camp meeting. Because I would give one message and someone else would give another message. And the youth would, do its thing. They would jump onto tables, bash their butts against each other, and they had 8 drum sets on the stage. Whew. Well, I don't know whether it was exactly 8, but it must have been close. I mean, I have never seen a mega rock band with so many drum sets on the stage. And I was walking around there, listening to them. And none of them hardly attended my meetings, and I had one in that hall. And all of a sudden, halfway through my meeting, the hall was packed. And I thought, wow, this is great. They're all coming to listen, but they all fell asleep. They were bored. Then I realized, no, they were waiting for the concert, which was just afterwards. It's discouraging, right? And the next day I was walking around there, and they were boom, boom, bashing inside there. And there was a young West Indian man, a black man, standing outside in his 20s. And he was standing at the door. So I walked up to him and I asked him kindly, "What are you doing here?" He says, "Oh, I'm just standing here." And I said to him, well, why aren't you in there? He says, oh, I can't go in there. I said, why can't you go in there? He said, because my Jesus is not in there. This is a 20-year-old man. And I said to him, then, if your Jesus is not in there, then why are you hanging out here? Why are you standing outside? He says, because my friends are in there. And I'm praying for them. They hit me, it's like a ton of bricks fall on you. And I congratulated him, said something, whatever, I can't remember, and walked off. And he came running after me and he said, do you mind if I have a chat to you? And I said, no, come. And we took 2 chairs and we sat there in the foyer. It was a big foyer, about a quarter of this room. And all the other halls came off from this central foyer. And we sat and we chatted. And he said, tomorrow, if they have the youth meeting in here, can we meet again? And I said, sure. Because it was a free time, there were no lectures, and anyways, it wouldn't have been possible to have a lecture. Too much noise, right? And then the next day, I went there, and there were 20. While the noise was going on in there. And the next day, I went there, and there were 200. While the noise was going on in there. And you know what? Every single one of them said, we don't really want to be in there. We don't really want to. We don't have stupid youth. They were born with brains and they can see. What the youth hates is hypocrisy. They cannot stand hypocrisy. They'd rather have purple hair and 5 nose rings than to live with hypocrisy. And by the way, purple hair and 5 nose rings is not a sign of apostasy, it's a cry for help. It's a cry for help. So don't give up on your youth and don't give up on this church. And the positive things in the church is that there is this groundswell. Back to basics. Back to Bible-based faith. Back to the Word. Back to the pillars, and back to singing songs which have meaning besides noise.